Okay. So do you still agree to all the terms and conditions in the email that you sent me?
Yeah.
Yeah, good, awesome. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna count back from three. We're gonna be silent because I just gotta record some silence for editing purposes, and then we'll just start. We'll just have a normal conversation.
Okay.
So you got any questions, concerns about anything?
No, I just hope I don't mess it up.
There's no messing it up. So yeah, I if you do like later on, that's fine. If you want like
Yeah.
something edited out or whatever, just let me know.
Okay.
Okay. Um, some of the things we're gonna talk about is actually like I kind of hinted about like who we are to each other.
Yeah.
A list. I'll kind of start the intro, like say who you are, and then you just say a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, what you do, whatever. And one of the things I wanted to get into is some of the hobbies that you're into. Like I know you're
Okay.
into the what do you call that again? A little nervous now. I know gaming, like the
Yeah.
Renaissance fairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. Count back down from three, three, two, one. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my show. I have a very special guest here today. Her name is Anna. She's my first cousin. And the interesting thing is that we've actually never met before. We've never been in the same room before. And through, we met, or we've talked through text message. And this is our first time actually visually seeing each other. I know that the listeners at home can only see us, but yeah, we can actually see each other. This is the first time that we're having a real conversation. So, Anna, can you please introduce yourself and tell the listeners a little bit about who you are?
Sure. Um, I'm Anna Smith, and again, first cousin. Born in Puerto Rico, raised in New York City, and I now live in England, in the UK. Um, yeah. Oh gosh, what else? I like long strolls on the beach. No. Um, I right now what I do is I work for an educational resource company, so I manage all of their maths products for primary education, both here in the UK and I help the international team as well.
Primary education. What does
Yeah.
that mean, primary education? I think a lot of
Uh,
people, yeah,
yeah. Over here, it's primary. In the states and elsewhere, elementary
elementary
school.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. That's awesome. Thank you. So, yeah, so for people wondering how come we never met, I've always known about you, like who you were, but you were sort of like this mythological figure that we've always heard about, but we've never seen. And
Ta-da!
yeah, I know, right? So for me, it would be like a family gathering or something, and we'd start talking about family members or people who aren't around, and then your name would always come up. And but I just never saw you, so I was like, wow, am I ever going to meet this person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the same. It's funny because obviously, when I was born, right, my mom passed away shortly after childbirth, and dad,
Hello.
were connected, had me for a little bit. He was what, 19, 20? And what do you do with a young newborn who's very apparently colicky or is a vampire? Because apparently I slept all day and cried all night.
Okay.
And then I ended up with my grandmother, with my mom's mom, and she raised me. And from there, the only connection, I guess, was when dad would come over and visit, which is how I met one of my sisters, Diana.
Diana,
And
yes.
yeah, so we have a picture of the both of us with him. And but as time goes on, you know, uh, the visits got less and less, which actually never really bothered me because I just grew up that way.
Okay.
Um, my grandmother never said anything bad about him. Family never
Hmm.
said anything bad about him. So, and then every so often I'd see him, like every couple of years. But unfortunately, I never really knew much about my dad's side of the family.
Right.
So I didn't know how big you guys were. Like,
We're a large group. Yeah.
I have two, yeah, I have two huge groups. One, both my mom's side and my dad's side. So that's how I realized, how big you guys were. And it wasn't until Carol's wedding
My sister
that I
Carol. Yeah.
actually went to. Yeah, that I
Yeah.
actually went to, and Dad started, reintroducing me to the family, and then I saw just how much I looked like everybody else. I was like,
Yeah, I
oh,
know.
this is
All his
this is where I
daughters,
get my
all his
genes.
daughters look alike. It's awesome.
So it
Yeah.
was cool, but then and then I would speak to them every so often, and because they all worked at a car rental place, and I used to rent the
Yep.
cars from there just to see them, really
Yeah.
just to see
Wow,
them.
that's awesome.
And then we kind of stopped the conversations, and then I worked. I worked for Citibank for better part of 10 years, in their marketing teams. And one day I just decided, well, I want to connect with my dad again.
Hmm.
And I'm an adult, and I want to have a relationship. So actually, the only thing I knew was where he worked, and that he, and in general where he lived. So what I
Right.
did was I looked up the company in, online, and I sent them an email, and I said who I was and that I was looking for him, and this is where I know he lives and where he works. I said, I'm not asking for information, his information. I'm asking you to pass my information.
Right. Right.
And of course, I did the whole "it's for medical purposes."
Okay.
Um, but it took a year. I completely
What?
forgot that I completely forgot that I'd sent that. And one day I got back to my desk, and there was a voicemail, and I picked it up, and he was like, "Hi, Marita," because obviously you guys call me Marita for my
Uh-huh.
mom.
Uh-huh.
He goes, "Hi, Marita, this is your dad." No, this is your father. And I was like, and 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 that's where it started. And then we just got, connected again, and he started visiting me and staying over, and we just had finally, the relationship. But still, I didn't really get to spend that time with all of you guys.
Yeah.
Look, put it this way: I was an adult. I knew I had two sisters, and I know I'd seen, the littlest one,
Mm-hmm.
every so often, but I didn't
Katiria,
know their
yeah.
names until I didn't know their names until I was an adult, which was really
Wow.
funny because the story goes, I've
Uh-huh.
always liked, when I was growing up, I went to, what do we call it? A Native American, like a reservation. And there was this story about this Native American princess, and her name was Kateri. And
Uh-huh.
I was like, or Kateri, something like that. And I was
Uh-huh.
like, oh, I love that name. So two of my favorite names have always been Kateri and Diana. And I did
Ooh.
not know that they
Ooh,
were
yeah.
actually my sister's names until,
That's wild.
until
That's
I was an
wild.
adult. Yeah.
Yeah, oh my
So,
God. Wow, that's
yeah.
crazy. So you were at okay, so now let's clear up the story. Lou. You were at my sister's wedding. I was at my sister's wedding. So we must have met there. I was one of the
Yeah.
the yeah, yeah. I was one of the groomsmen, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, but that was a
Yeah.
while ago.
Oh, ages. Yeah.
Yeah, wow, it's
Yeah.
amazing. That's crazy, Diana and Katiria. You still talk to them at all or?
Um, they're not. My main connection with everybody is through Facebook. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but every so often, yeah, not so
Yeah.
much Diana because I talk to Cindy more often, which is my
Yeah.
dad's wife.
Right.
Um, but so I talk to her, and then she passes on the hellos and all of
Mhm.
that. So,
Mhm.
But yeah, not too long ago, Katiria messaged me, and she, we just like, hi, how you doing, and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
So it's kind
I'm better on text.
yeah, it's just kind of one of those weird things like you I guess you see like Hallmark movies or something about like the person that has like another family somewhere, but here it is like in real life that it
Yeah,
happens.
yeah,
That's wild, yeah.
yeah. It's really, I mean, but it's really cool though. I mean, I love, like I said, Facebook is how I keep up with you guys. So I love watching all of the videos and the pictures that everybody puts up.
Yeah.
Especially around the holidays. So
So my sister is how I've learned most of my stuff about you because she was older, so she was around during that
okay,
time when you were born and stuff like that. And her being
yeah,
older, because she's about 10 years older than me, um, it seems like to me that you might have been like a play toy, like oh this new little baby into the family. You know what I mean? Her being like an older girl was kind of like oh look they gave me this toy here because she
yeah.
speaks very fondly of you. She's always had
Oh,
like great positive emotional memories about
yeah.
you.
And and I remember her, and I remember Francis. I
Yeah,
remember
those
them
two.
both really well.
Uh huh.
So I've always been excited to see them again because I remember them as I was a kid, and I have pictures of them at my birthday party and stuff. So yeah, I have positive memories of them as well. So I was always like, "Yay, Carol!"
Yeah. My,
So,
my my sister, she's great. I'm gonna have her on the show one of these days. We
oh,
just
good.
gotta find the right thing to talk about where we're not gonna get like into a lot of trouble with other family members. You know how it is. You know how family
Yeah.
politics are.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it is super hot in this room, by the way. So if you see me sweating,
That's
I
it.
don't normally look like this.
Yeah, it's cold over here. It's gotten cold
Yeah. So you're in
and
England.
wet. Yeah.
So how'd you end
Yeah.
up in
With
England?
wow. A man.
Yeah.
um, met the man who would end up being my husband, and we clicked, and it was just, yeah, this is where I want to be, and that was that. It
Yeah.
really was.
Well, the
So
interesting
that
part is
was,
where in England you are right now.
yeah, where history is made. Well, yeah, I'm in the middle of Robin Hood country. I'm nowhere near London, so Nottinghamshire,
Uh
yeah,
huh.
Nottinghamshire. So Sheriff of Nottingham and Robin Hood and all of that. So I've been, well, where we live.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is what used to be pretty much the middle of Sherwood Forest.
Mm.
And of course they've taken down the trees and build houses. But right in our town there's a little plaque that says this was the middle of Sherwood Forest, and we do visit Sherwood Forest every so often
Okay.
because there's a bunch of it still there. And apparently there's this whole business about a major oak. So it's a huge oak tree. It is so huge right now. It's like propped up. Bless it. It's just huge. And the thing was over here. That's part of the Robin Hood story. And I'm
Uh
like, I
huh.
have no idea what this major oak business is, but
Okay.
over here it's part of the story.
Is it like a tourist
But it's cool.
attraction
It's
or?
huge. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Big tourist attraction, and people just constantly seeing it, going to visit it. But bless it, it's like it's got all of these wires and things just keeping it up. It is just that old.
Wow.
Well, and they say it dates back to the time where um, you know
The
where these Robin Hood
stories.
legends would have been on. Yeah, so it's a beautiful tree, but it's
Is there
old.
anything else besides a forest, like castles
Oh
or
my
anything?
gosh. Yes, yes, and part of that is why I love being here, because like I just joke around. This is where the history is at, and I'm a history geek. I absolutely love history. So yeah, where we're at, there's lots and lots of big estate houses. There's one of our favorites. I mean, we practically live there. Is Bolsover Castle, um, and it's about 20 minutes away, and it's a gorgeous little, and it was like a vacation castle. It was
Mm-hmm.
there for parties and impressing people, and it's just absolutely stunning. So we go there a lot. Everybody who visits gets to go there because I take them over there. There's Nottingham Castle. Oop, hold on a second.
See, that one I've heard of,
My
Nottingham. Yes.
Yeah. So Nottingham Castle. Hold on, my ears don't like these earbuds. Um, Nottingham Castle, which not as pretty. It's a museum now, not as
Oh,
pretty.
okay.
But the cool thing about Nottingham Castle is that underneath all of these caves,
Hmm.
and this is where a lot of people just pretty much lived, moved around, and right now they have there is one pub, right? Because there are pubs over here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's called Ye Old Trip to Jerusalem.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
However, it is the oldest pub here, and it's in Nottingham, and it's built into those crevices, into the rock that's underneath. So people
Wow.
would pretty much pop out from all of these tunnels uh, underneath the castle, and then just hang there. So you go in, and the roof and the walls is pretty much just the rock from underneath the castle. It's really cool. Loads of places around here. Loads of beautiful. Well, first of all, beautiful country. I mean, you just
Yeah.
everywhere you go. I mean, we can walk 15 minutes away, and there's sheep, there's horses, there's ruins of something.
A lot
It's
of history.
fantastic, and the entire loads of history and loads of beautiful, beautiful just nature,
Okay.
just natural wonders. It's beautiful.
So
I
for a
love it.
person like
Can you
me
tell?
who doesn't know anything about this type of stuff, where does the is there like a clear line between like the myth and legend and what actually kind of happened, or is that all kind of blurred
Uh,
in?
it's all blurred because you have like all of these stories about this. I mean, Robin Hood really didn't exist.
No.
It is a myth, but
Okay.
it's taken from it's taken from actual stories and actual
Hmm.
things that happen. So it gets taken from something that's a bit earlier, that's a bit later, but it is pretty much a myth. But it's a great story, and
Yes.
it just puts Nottinghamshire and Nottingham and Sherwood Forest on the map. But like I say, yeah, it's a great story, and it's a lot of fun to visit. But it's just based on different things happening in history. I mean, there were people who were kind of Robin Hoodish, as in
Hmm.
they were against what
Thieves.
was going on. Um, so
It kind of broke up. Yeah.
they were against what was going on locally. Oh, sorry, they were against what
Yeah.
was going on in locally and things, and they championed the peasants and stuff. But there was
Okay.
never really one person.
Right.
So sorry to bust the myth there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's cool. I love when hearing that, like,
But
because it is usually some sort of truth behind every myth, right? There's something about it that sort of rings true.
yeah,
Um, I'm guessing
yeah,
because myself, yeah, like that you loved to read as a child, and these were kind of like the stories you were into, fantasy.
yeah. Yeah. Grew up as an only kid, for the most part, because since my grandmother raised me, so
Right.
there was a lot of reading. So it is. I do love it. I don't do it as much now. Go figure. I don't know why. My
With the
husband says I need
COVID,
to be. Well, my husband says I need to be angry to read these days. So, but he doesn't anger me.
good thing, I
He's
guess,
sitting
right?
next to me. He's sitting next to it. He's like, I'm not
Yeah.
paying attention. So, but yeah, I
Yeah.
love reading.
Well, I remember I was reading Robert Jordan's The Wheel of Time, and
Oh,
and I,
yes.
and I took a picture to use on Instagram, and that was like one of the first times I remember us talking because you were like, I forgot what you said, something about like, oh, when I reference certain characters or something like that, someone's going to get me. I thought
Yeah.
it was a cute, really cute comment.
Yeah, it's true. It's my favorite, of course. The Wheel of Time from Robert Jordan is my favorite. I mean, if you remember the books, then you'll understand my Skype name
Okay.
because that was major character.
Right.
And all of my characters. I mean, I do Renaissance fairs, and my character is Avienda, or Avi, as they call me. Um, but I like those, and I read Game of Thrones uh, a decade. Well, let's say I was waiting
Before
more
it
than
was
a
cool.
decade before it was cool. Exactly, I was waiting for it. We knew that HBO back then was going to film it, so I was waiting for over a decade for that thing to come out.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so really happy with it. Except the end.
So so with the Wheel of Time, Robert Jordan's fantasy series, I know there was a big thing because he passed away like before he could finish it,
Yeah,
and then they churned it over to what's the guy, Brandon
yeah,
Sanders, I think.
his
Yeah.
son. Yeah.
How do you like how did he do that?
Um.
Was it
Well.
good or
Well. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he worked with Robert Jordan, on notes and things. Because apparently, I mean, it wasn't sudden he was sick, but so there was a lot of work, a lot of notes, a lot of collaboration. So I think he did well with it.
nice, nice?
Yeah.
Because with endings now, because the way Game of Thrones ended, everyone's all upset about that, and people are wondering
Yeah.
if George R. Martin's going to be able to finish Song of Ice and Fire. What do you think? Is he ever going to get done with this thing?
Oh man, I hope he does. I hope he does, and he I hope he sticks to what he mentioned, that it would be a
Okay.
different ending.
Then the TV show.
Because really, than the TV show, yeah, yeah.
Okay, I didn't hear that. You said that.
So
Okay.
because yeah, so it would make you want to read it because you'd want to know
Well, yeah,
how he
yeah.
ends it.
It would have to be different,
So
right? Like I saw this already. Why am I going to read this?
yeah, exactly. Why would I want to read this and have heartache all over again? But
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm hoping he does, because the books, there's so much in the books that did not make it into the series.
I know.
Um, you know, Lady, oh, what was it? Lady Lonely Heart, Lady Bleeding Heart, something like that. Which I'm not gonna spoil for anybody, but oh my
Right.
god, let me to put it this way. I got to the end of book three, and this is how early it is. I got to the end of the third book,
Hmm.
and I slammed the book closed and threw it across the room, going,
What?
"Oh my God, where is number four?" And it took almost 2 years for number four to come out, and that's literally when Lady, like I said, Lonely Heart or Bleeding Heart shows. And if you haven't read the books, you need to read the books because there is so
Yeah.
much more that happens. So yeah.
I'm halfway
Uh,
through the fifth one right now.
all right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I hope he finishes it. I really do. And
Are
see
there
and
any
see
other?
see see what is different. Hmm.
Yeah, oh, it's got to be. It's got to be different. I mean, if you read the books and you watch the series, you know he has to take a different route. I feel he just has to. There's
Yeah.
way much more going on, like you said.
Yeah. A lot
He
more
did.
death.
Yeah, yeah. I always there was a statement that I heard that I just thought was kind of strange that he said that. Okay, he did. I didn't hear what you said about the it will have a different ending, but what I did hear
Mhm.
was every person who dies in the series, that's the same way they're gonna die in the books or something like that. He said, and I was kind of disappointed with like I don't want to know that. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So I hope that's
well,
not
I
true.
haven't heard. Yeah, I haven't heard that, but yeah, I mean, the people who were already dead in the books did die the way they did die in the
Okay.
series, the way they
Oh,
died in
okay.
the books. But I don't know the rest. Once it goes off the books, I don't know. I don't know what else. but some of them were cool.
Yeah.
Some of them were cool.
Well, I know a
And
lot of. Go ahead, go
oh,
ahead.
and just to let you know, a few years ago, what was it 5 years ago? Because again, I'm a geek, so we have the conventions here. So the you know people coming in from. I mean, I've met Star Trek, which I'm a Trekker because I like Star
Same
Trek.
here. Same here.
So
We could talk about that next.
I've met Nichelle Nichols. I've met almost all of them that are still alive. But the first one that happened in Nottingham, we went to because we were really excited because we watch here. Some people might know about it in the States, but over here there's a show called Red Dwarf, and
Yeah,
I didn't.
I've heard of that.
Oh,
Yeah.
you've heard of Red Dwarf? Yeah. So they're always there locally. So we got to meet and take pictures with all of the guys from Red Dwarf. But the first year, because they didn't expect that many people to show up, we pretty much waited outside for what was it 3 hours? I think it was more. I mean, we got there at about 10 and we didn't get in there until about 2:30, and it ended at 4.
Okay.
So basically what we did was we made a beeline for the people that we wanted to see.
Yeah, yeah.
And my beeline was for Christian Nairn, Hodor.
Oh,
So
okay. Hold on. All
yeah,
right.
yeah. So I made a beeline for him. He's huge. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I'm a big
Yeah.
girl. He dwarfs me. He's a
Wow.
big guy, but he is such a teddy bear. And he was like, "Oh, have you been waiting long?" And it's like, "Yeah, we've been waiting all day outside. We've been here since 10 o'clock." So, since we only have a little bit of time, we just made, we're just concentrating on the people that we came to see. And he just got all flustered. He blushed.
Oh,
And he was like, "Oh my God, you came to
he
see
seems like a
me?"
sweetheart. Yeah.
He's a sweetheart, absolute sweetheart. And so I made Hodor blush and stammer, and I got a picture.
Nice. That's awesome. So let's do Star Trek real quick
Yeah.
before we go into Renaissance,
Okay.
your Renaissance stuff. All right. Out of all the Star Treks, which is your favorite?
Oh, okay. I can't look at my husband right now because,
Okay.
but Next Generation. It's always
Yeah.
been Next Generation.
Yeah. Thank you. Me too.
Always been
However,
Next
though,
Generation.
here I put a little something on it, though, a little asterisk. I feel that the one that was actually like the best had sort of like the best shows, though, or the best written, or I don't know. It's just something really special about it that
Mhm.
none of them seem to have, which
Yeah.
was Deep Space Nine. There's something about it, like the acting was really, really high. The
Yeah.
stories, just not all of them, because you kind of got like those filler episodes.
Yeah.
But then there's like the ones that are like with the main core story that I thought were just absolutely amazing.
My husband will allow you to hang. That's his
Ah,
favorite.
that's his
That's his
favorite?
favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The only thing I didn't like about Deep Space Nine was just that they were stationary, and
See,
everybody.
but I love that. That's what made it different. Yeah.
Yeah, but for me, it was. I liked the
It's not the
exploration.
adventure, it's not the travel, right? The
Yeah,
exploration.
yeah. Everything comes to them. But
Right,
I
but the
did like it a
travel was
lot.
more inward, I felt, with Deep Space Nine. Like, you got into the story, into the characters a lot more because they were stationary, I felt.
Yeah, I just felt it was more. Oh, they were like I don't want to say police, but it was just I don't know a bit more political than I would have
Yes,
liked it to
it got
be.
into all, yeah, it got into all that stuff, which,
Yeah,
again, like, I give them a lot of props for, because I think it was high level drama type stuff
yeah,
for an industry that a lot of people feel is sort of like popcorn and bubblegum,
yeah.
and they were
But
more like they took it to another level.
yeah, but great. Yeah, like you said, great acting,
Oh,
great
superb.
writing. Uh,
Yeah.
Rene Auberjonois was the first Star Trek person I met. He was the first
Yeah.
one that I went to. He was at the first Star Trek convention I ever went to. So I got to meet him, and I got to buy one of his drawings of Odo in
Wow.
a bucket, and he signed it.
In a bucket. Nice.
And he signed it. But he was the only one from Deep Space Nine, right? He was the only one from Deep Space Nine. I met. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. A few years ago, I went to one in Birmingham, a Star Trek convention in Birmingham, and that year my husband couldn't go because he had a bad backache. So I left him because it was Star Trek. and,
Priorities.
yeah, it's like, here, take some of these, sleep it off. I'll be back. And Birmingham is about an hour away from us, and that's when I met. Oh, I forgot her actual name. Dax. Terry Farrell.
Yeah,
I
the
met
names
Dax.
I'm not good with their actual names, but the characters' names.
Yeah,
Dax was
So
great.
Dax was
Nira,
fantastic.
Kira Nerys. Yeah, I love all of those. They were
Yeah,
awesome.
I
The
haven't met
Doctor,
Kira
Bashir.
Nerys. Yeah,
Just
but I
that
met
acting
Dax.
crew was amazing. Okay,
They were.
Dax.
All of them. All of them were
Yeah.
fantastic. I think. I don't think there was anybody that wasn't
No
good
weak
on there.
link. Maybe the captain's son. Maybe
Yeah.
he wasn't
Yeah,
bad either. He was, yeah.
Kids are, you can kind of take
Exactly.
them or leave them. But
Yeah.
but yeah. And then so I went up to her, and she I said, "Could you sign this for my husband? He really wanted to meet you, but he's got a backache." So she signed it. I hope you get better.
Oh.
For him. And then obviously because I'm not from around here, and she realized I was American, and we had a maybe 60-second conversation that was TMI. It was like we were sorority sisters who had been out drinking, and then this was
Right.
like oversharing, and I was like, oh, what? Yeah, haha. And then I realized who she was talking about, because she married him, and I was like, oh,
Okay. All right.
So hey, but
we can't
yeah,
share
so,
that here, huh?
no, that will
Too
go
much,
with me to
right?
my grave. I'm not saying what it
There you
was,
go.
yeah, but it was a bit surreal. And then so I also took pictures with George Takei.
Mm-hmm.
And that one was the biggest grin when I walked out. And also William Shatner.
He's had like a big resurgence in his career. He's big again. Had that documentary on him not so long ago and stuff. I'm surprised for him.
Yeah.
His career just came back like out of nowhere.
Well, I mean, he really, I have to say, people will not, this may be an unpopular opinion, but I wasn't a fan of his as Kirk.
Okay.
Just because that one was just a bit before me.
Mm-hmm.
But
The original Star Trek.
I love, yeah, the original Star Trek was a bit before me. I loved the movies, but I wasn't connected the way I was connected to Next Generation. And then what I absolutely fell in love with him over was Boston Legal. And his character.
Oh, William Shatner?
Yeah.
Is that who you're talking about? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and his character of Denny Crane.
Okay.
Absolute brilliance. And from that point, I just became such a fan of his. So to go and meet him and take a quick picture, with him there was just fantastic. But out of everybody that I met, the one that and they tell you about this, but you don't realize it until you're there. The one that, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, shook me was actually Will, who played Wesley.
Oh yes, I forgot his name. Yeah, he's on The Big Bang Theory. Yeah.
Yes. They tell you that to meet him is something special.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, I don't understand, right? So,
Okay.
at the same convention where I met Dax, I was on the line for him, but it wasn't for me. It was for my sister-in-law.
Okay.
Because I was like, I'll get this for you
She's a Wesley Crusher fan.
Yeah, so we were there, and just going on the lines, and it got to me, and I went up to him and said hello, and he looks at you, and it just stops you in your tracks. This guy has this connection with people, the way he looks at people and the way he speaks. And he was like, "Hi, what's your name?" And I'm like, "Oh, my name's Anna." And he shakes my hand, and he's like, "Anna, thank you so much for coming." But the way
Mm,
he does it, it's like there's no one else in the room.
right.
And you're just, I was like, "Hi," just it just
He's a
whatever
charmer.
whatever you had to tell him, and
Yeah.
the way he acts with kids as well. Some there was a little boy who gave him some chocolate, and oh my god, he just makes you feel so incredibly special. And then I went back, and I followed him on Instagram, and I followed him on Facebook because of it. And
Right.
to see the issues that he faces day to day, because he has issues with depression and
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know about that.
yeah, but he makes it very public because he feels
Okay.
it's very important. So for him to turn around and make other people feel like they're the only person in the room, it is a very special thing.
Yeah,
So
I
if you
agree.
ever have a chance, I would suggest go and stand on that line.
Well, he was an interesting character because of the way he exited. I always felt that, he would return in somehow in some way, and that character's never come back
Yeah.
since he left. And I'm like, huh? Like, and I'm wondering now that Picard, that show Picard is around, if Wesley will ever come back and somehow,
Uh,
you know.
yeah, and I watched that, and it was very interesting. Not your usual Star Trek.
Okay, so before we go to Picard,
Yeah,
are you a fan of Discovery?
I am a big fan of Discovery,
Me
and
too. I love Discovery. People hate
great
it. It gets
writing.
trashed on the internet all the time.
Yeah, great writing. I think I love the storyline. The characters,
Really
I don't
different
know.
though. It's really
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
That's the thing
So
blows people up. They're kind of like, "What? What is this? It's not Star Trek."
yeah, yeah. But I love the concept. We're actually rewatching it because my husband didn't watch it because I like to binge watch. So I'm making him watch it now before he gets to season three. But I'm like, ooh, all over again. Yeah,
Yeah, very emotional though. Those first two seasons, especially the
yeah,
second season, how it ended.
yeah,
Really
yeah,
emotional.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely loved it. The
Okay,
the
so
one I
we,
can't.
we geeked out.
Hmm?
Go
Oh
ahead.
no, I said the one that I will not watch. However,
Uh
is
huh.
Enterprise. I will not watch
No,
Enterprise.
I
Nope,
didn't get it. I didn't watch it either.
nope.
But just because I was just busy in my life. But
Yeah. I,
well, why not? You feel you have a reason. What's the
no,
reason
the fact that there was some song with words turned me off to begin with.
for the intro?
Yeah. Oh, I was like, no, this is not how Star Trek is done. Um, but I tried. I tried to watch it. No, no.
I got into a few episodes where were pretty good, but something about it definitely wasn't like the best. But yeah, I didn't watch it because at that time it just didn't, it just wasn't my thing to watch shows or whatever when it came on. Um, but there were a few good episodes, and I know the actor. I like him. He's been around for a while.
Yeah,
He's a pretty solid actor.
yeah. Which is why I gave it a chance. Nope. No thanks.
Couldn't get into it.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, because it's getting a little bit late. Can we go into your Renaissance stuff? Tell
Oh
us
yeah.
about that.
Sorry.
That's
Sorry.
something I've always wanted to do, but I don't know much about it. So inform me and my wife so I could take my wife to one.
Yeah. Okay. So I was very heavily into Renaissance fairs again because I like history. Um, but that doesn't get very historical after a while. But
It's more myth than actual history, huh?
yeah, it's a lot of playing around.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to I was what's called a patron, which means I was just a person who showed up, paid to get in, but was
Mm-hmm.
dressed up and
Hmm.
hung out with other people who paid to get in, but they were dressed up. And you form a really big community. Lots of great shows, lots of great musicians, a lot of great um, artisans. I mean, I've met
Mm,
people who make amazing leather works,
right.
and clothing and pottery, and the skill there is amazing, and they're all around the country. And you have some performers who actually, what they do all year long is go around the country performing.
Wow. At
So
different Renaissance fairs.
yeah, because none of the Renaissance fairs, they're not open all year long. They're only for about
Right.
6 to 10 weeks.
Kind of
So
seasonal.
yeah, so you'll have people who just go from one Ren fair to the next, and that's all they do. And some very good people. A lot of my closest friends, who still talk to me today, who we still have, close relationship today, are all from the Renaissance Festival. So I used to go every year, hang out. I was part of the Wenches Guild. There is actually a Wenches Guild. Um,
Nice.
and then you you know you just go and enjoy. You don't have to be dressed up, but you know go and see all of the musicians, and just enjoy the food, the atmosphere, that they've got. They love interacting with the performers love interacting with um, the audience, and they'll interact with people who are not dressed up more than they do
Right.
with people who are dressed up, because
Huh.
for if you show up and you're not dressed up, and I show
Right.
up and I'm dressed up, and someone interacts with me, you think I'm part of the show.
Okay.
But if they're interacting with you, other people will see, oh, they're interacting with just regular people.
Uh huh. Okay.
So that was always something that that they made sure of, that they kind of stayed away from us and went to the people who were not dressed up, who were just in shorts and sneakers, and so that they could give them the fun experience, and the kids and everything.
And they're
Um,
like in full character
yeah,
when
they
they
were
do this.
full character, and a lot of them are actors, but some of them just enjoyed it so much that they
Yeah.
ended up joining the cast. For me, I was doing it for over 10 years.
Hmm.
I started off just going and dressing up.
Were you into D&D as well?
No,
You never got into that? Oh, okay.
no, tabletop gaming,
Surprisingly,
tabletop
too
gaming.
good, too geeky for you.
No, it was just I never did, because my grandmother never let me hang out with other geeks or anybody
Oh,
really. I couldn't
oh.
hang out with friends. My mom was always. I mean, I was in college and my mom was paging me. No,
Pager.
man,
What's that?
yeah,
People listening may not know what a pager is.
that's how old I am. That's how old I am. She didn't get me on.
Yeah.
She didn't get me on a cell phone. She got me on a pager. But and then from there, I moved on to getting to know people who worked for the booths and stuff in there. Then had made lots of friends there, so I got kind of into the subculture, of all the people who dressed up and worked there. And then a friend that I'd made, she opened up a pottery stand where she sold her pottery.
Mm,
So I volunteered. I didn't work for her. I volunteered for her, which would get me in there, so I didn't have to pay to get in. I was already in
mhm.
and experiencing it, and I just volunteered with her booth. And then when she left, because all of my friends worked for her, all of my closest
Yeah.
friends worked for her, and then she stopped. I was like, well, we still need to get together. So I opened up my own booth.
There you
and
go.
and I taught
Take
people,
matters into your own hands.
yeah, and I taught people how to spin wool into yarn. So I would sell drop spindles. I would sell all kinds of fiber, so even silk, camel hair, sheep, all sorts. And I would
Wow.
show people how to make yarn. And after a while, I then joined like a subgroup, uh, that they were not actors, but they were part of the show. And I joined this. We created this group called the Flirts of Fancy, and
Nice name.
and we sang, and we would we
Nice.
and we would perform, and we would sing mostly body songs because that's what we liked. And
Wait,
all
what's a body song? What's that?
body Bawdy. It's all the naughty songs.
Oh, the naughty songs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I
So if they
got
were
you.
bawdy, they were naughty. Um, and it's really funny because we actually put out two CDs because that's how we made.
Nice.
That's what tips and CDs are how we made money. And then I stopped doing it, and then a couple of years I went back, uh, not even dressed up, just in regular clothing, which felt so weird. And I was watching my favorite performers who have become friends of mine, called the Crimson Pirates, and this lady just tapped me on the shoulder, and she was like, "Are you with the Flirts of Fancy?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she was like, "I love you guys." She goes,
Oh.
I'm from Florida. I have your CDs." And here she was in New York. So it was just mind blowing. But like I said, the entire experience, definitely go. If you can come across a Renaissance fair, go and enjoy it. It is just a day of fun, and it is nothing like you've experienced before.
Is it
And
kid friendly?
it is very kid friendly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, completely
So I
kid
got two little
friendly.
ones.
Yeah, no, no, no. There's loads for them to do. And it is a complete family friendly, show. So definitely take the entire family and go.
So out of curiosity, I'm not sure if you know or not. I When did this Renaissance, like, when did this become like a big thing? Because I don't remember hearing about it till like maybe like the mid '90s. But I'm guessing it's been around a lot longer than that.
Not too much longer, actually.
No? Oh, okay.
No. And I don't really. By the time I got to it, it had been the one in New York, which is fantastic.
Okay.
And funnily enough, their storyline is Robin Hood.
Okay. So everyone has like its own theme, sort of a
Yeah,
storyline that they play. Okay.
yeah.
I
Everyone
did
has
see.
their own
Did not know
theme.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that one had been around for about. By the time I got to it, had been around for about 10 years. So it was like mid
Okay.
'80s. It was like in the '80s that I know
Somewhere
the
in the
New York one
'80s.
started. Yeah, but they're
Hmm.
huge now. They're really huge.
Yeah. The only thing I could think of close to that was the like the Civil War reenactment
Yeah,
type people. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I
And
don't know if like.
there
Go ahead.
is there are two groups actually that do reenactments, and that's the difference between a reenactment group and a Renaissance fair. There's two: LARP, which I can't remember what it stands for, live action role play, I think it
Action role
is.
playing, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then there's the SCA, which is huge, which is the Society for Creative Anachronism. I don't even know why that is.
Yeah,
But
okay. I was gonna ask.
yeah, but they reenact. They have kings and queens, of which one of my very good friends and her husband has been king and queen twice of the East. Um, and they have for 2 weeks in August. The first 2 weeks in August, they will go to Pennsylvania and have what's called the Penzic Wars, and talk about thousands of people all camping in the old style, in the Renaissance fair style.
Wow.
Very strict classes, very strict rules on clothing, very strict rules. You have your bards, you have the people who are artisans and who do this and who do that. That's actually how, because I'm not a member, but my friend taught me how to spin that the
Okay.
wool into yarn, and then it just took off for me. She went a different way. She likes to embroider. She does some beautiful stuff. But you learn these things that are really in danger of being lost.
Mm.
From blacksmithing to embroidery, everything, and they get together, and it's a huge, huge group. But between SCA and LARP, they get into the facts, and you're doing it the way it was done back then.
Right.
Renaissance fair is that plus a whole lot of fantasy.
Right. Okay.
So
Right.
Renaissance fairs, you'll have fairies, you'll
Mm-hmm.
have you know
Mythological creatures, all
yeah
kinds of stuff.
yeah, you'll have people wearing colors and clothing that you would not normally wear if you were in that period of time.
Right.
One of my favorite years was when Captain Jack Sparrow showed up, and
Nice.
and he was just a guy. who showed up as Jack Sparrow, and he looked so much like him, and had the swagger down, so much so that by the next year he had already been cast as
Wow.
as Jack Sparrow, and his name is Chris, and he is fantastic.
Okay, so awesome. Before we go, thank you so much, though. But what's your favorite Jean Luc line before we go from
Oh,
Star Trek The Next Generation?
there are four lights.
Yeah, there are four lights. I love that one. You know what mine is?
What?
Let's make sure history never forgets the name Enterprise.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome.
Cool.
You are awesome. I'm glad
Aw,
we had this
me
conversation.
too. I know I've babbled a lot. I do that.
No, that's fine. That's awesome. You overshot my expectation of what I was hoping for this
Aw.
podcast.
Oh, I'm glad
And
I could help.
whenever we definitely have you guys in mind when COVID goes away and we can finally take some vacations, we definitely want to head out there and see you guys.
I would love for that to happen. Can't wait to hug you.
Okay. Bye bye, Anna. See you. Take it easy. Thank you.